Hey YouTube! So today I am bringing you swatches of a very, or well, semi I guess. I've been seeing some mixed anticipation comments on it. A very anticipated palette, and that is the Urban Decay Electric Palette. Look at the pretty contasing, because that's a word. Look at the pretty containers. Look at it, it's pretty. And it is the newest palette from Urban Decay, and it is their break from the Nakeds. Now, I didn't start wearing makeup until last year, like literally March 9th I think was my makeup anniversary. So March 9th was the first time I bought any type of makeup for myself. And that was of 2013. So, but I heard, or I've been hearing that Urban Decay used to be known for their colors, and it was great and wonderful, and they used to be the authority in colored eyeshadows, and then out of nowhere they just stopped, and everything got naked for a while, because we have the naked foundation, we've got the naked, we have 3 naked palettes, we have a naked basics, we have a naked flushed, we have another new version of the naked flushed that's still too light for me, so I don't care about it. Anyway, so the electric palette is their brand new palette filled with colors. So there's nothing neutral about this, nothing settled down about this. No, it's all in your face, bright and bold. So ta-da! So today I will be showing you swatches of it. And again, this was my second time using Sony Vegas, so if the images are a little strange, I do apologize ahead of time. About the palette itself, so this is it, and it's a little big. It's about the same size, okay, maybe my head's a little bigger, about the same size of my head, and it's very smooth. Like, I'm loving these smooth palettes, these smooth sleek palettes that are coming out. And I know I still haven't done the color of the year palette from Pantone and Sephora yet, but it again has that same smooth sleek feel. And as you see, it's got this explosion of color on the front and the big electric there. So next, we're gonna open it. Oh, I'm blinding you guys, I'm sorry. I'm gonna hold it this way. We're gonna hold it this way. So these are the 10 new shades, and here is the brush. And now with the naked 1 and 3, because I never bought 2, I bought 1, returned it, bought 3, returned it. With the naked 1 and 3, I wasn't too fond of the brush. I think I used the brush in my naked 1 or the naked 3 to apply my cream eyeshadows, because it was good for that, but that was about it. But this one, I actually really like the brush. Like this little portion right here, I like it for applying color under my waterline / on my waterline, because normally all the brushes I have are too big for that, and I want to try out color under here, but I've got wrinkles here, and I believe from what I read it's because my eyes are a little they're slanted upwards, so that causes the skin to pull, and it's been like that since the beginning of since I was born. So that's just how it is. So I've always been afraid to put color down there for emphasizing those little wrinkles, but this does it nicely because it makes the line thin. And this side, the thicker flat side, is a really good applicator. This side, the thin side, or well, the bigger thin side anyway, it's a really good applicator. I used it this morning because I had a completely different look on my face this morning. I literally just got done doing swatches, so I have to take it off. I used this side today for my look this morning, and it works pretty well. It gets the colors up there. Now, is it as dense as some of my other brushes? No. So it doesn't pack them on there like my Sigma E55 does, because I use that for this, but it gets the job done, and I'm okay with that. So we're gonna go ahead and start, and I am reading the names and the descriptions off of my computer to, yeah. So first up we have Revolt, which is the silver shade right here, and Revolt is described as a bright metallic silver with shimmer with silver glitter. The shade's not bad. It doesn't apply like some of the other silver eyeshadows that I have, as it's a little more, there's not much to it. Like, it's not as bad as Dust is, because it's not crumbly. It goes on really smooth, but you'll see the side with the white base, and the side with the white base is going to be the side of my face that has a little X on it. It looks a lot better with the white base. Like, the color isn't as packed in pigmented as all of them. It goes on nicely, but it's not as great as the rest of the palette is. Not as bad as Dust from Naked 3, but still not better than all of these. So, not bad, not great. I'll use it under a base. Like, I'm gonna try and experiment with different color bases to see what it does under. Because with the white base, it looks really, really pretty. It looks like I have on a shimmering silver shadow. But I want to see what it does with other things too. So, next up we have Gonzo, which is this blue right here. And Gonzo is described as a bright turquoise matte with floating tonal pearl. To me, if you're a matte, you're not going to have any pearl in it. To me, because, you know, you're just a flat shade. But it's still very pretty. I do like this color. And it goes on very nicely. And, yeah, it's a gorgeous shade of blue. Like, one thing I noticed about this palette is you've got 3 blues, 2 purples, an orange, pink, and you can call one a green, I guess, and you can call one a yellow, however you want to do it, or both of them green. So it's a little weird. Because I would have personally taken out Slow Burn and Savage and put in 2 more, something else to go in this family. Like, these 2 are a nice breakup, but they feel out of place. Like this. The Trash, I like using by itself because that's what's on my eyes right now. Or Thrash, I'm sorry. I have it on my eyes right now. Or I like using it in my inner corner with Fringe. And I have a picture of that on my blog because it is what I wore today. Like, I wore Fringe, Gonzo, Chaos, Urban, and Thrash all on my eye today. So, but anyway. It is bright, it is pretty, so yay. But I wouldn't describe it as a true matte. None of these are really true matte, with the exception of Savage. Savage, I think, is the closest we get, but we'll get to that in a moment. So next is Slow Burn. And Slow Burn is described as the bright red-orange matte with floating pearl. Again, it's the shimmer in it to me cancels out it being a pearl, or being a matte, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop saying cancels out it being a matte. So, with that being said, it's a pretty color. It didn't... The way I was expecting it to go on and the way it went on were 2 completely different things. Like, I don't know if it's... Yeah, I don't know. It's nice. We'll leave it at it's nice because I can't figure out what I want to say about this one. I can't figure out what I want to say about Slow Burn, but it's still nice. It went on nicely. We're going to leave it there. So, next is the Savage, which is a bright, hot pink matte. Like I said, this is the closest thing to me that's a matte in this palette, as there is no pearl, there is no shimmer, there is no shine. It's just there. I will say, because I know some people were like, well, I have Sugar Pill palettes, so I won't get the Urban Decay Electric palette, and that's kind of where I was at. I was like, well, some of these colors look similar, so I don't need it. It is correct in the fact that I did not need this palette. I do not need any makeup palette. I just need food and water. But I am going to still keep it regardless. Savage reminds me of Dolly Lop, but Dolly Lop to me packs more of a punch. Especially with the base for Dolly Lop. I just did the swatches the other day and I need to upload the pictures to my blog, but I have pictures of Dolly Lop with and without a base. Dolly Lop to me is a lot brighter. Like, Savage is pretty. It's bright and it's vibrant, but Dolly Lop is more wow in your face bright. So I guess that's a comparison. Nothing to do with Savage though. Savage is a good shade too. But again, it just feels out of place with all of these blues. Like, I'll figure out something to do with it with Slow Burn, and I can easily pair it up with any of the purples, especially Jilted, I think, which is this one right here. But I don't know, to me it's just a little out of place. Like, it throws me off because I'm a big color person. Things being visually appealing and flowing correctly is important to me. So this is interesting because it's not like anything else in here. But moving on, next is Fringe. Fringe is my favorite shade in the entire palette, as it's gorgeous. If you've never watched, I looked at this and then I put it on and I'm like, this reminds me, if I had to pick an eyeshadow for Sailor Neptune, and yes, I'm talking about the same Sailor Neptune from Sailor Moon. If I had to pick an eyeshadow for Sailor Neptune, this would be it. It's so pretty. I love Fringe. Like, if I hit the pan or anything first, it's going to be Fringe, because I have no problem. If I had to create an everyday look, because I don't have one, I would put Fringe on every day and walk out the door and be fine. I love this color. I'm just gonna swatch it on my hand. Like, I know there's a picture, so like, it's so pretty. Oh, and it just gets described as a bright metallic teal, because I almost forgot that. Next up, moving aside from my favorite shade in the palette, is Chaos. And Chaos is a bright blue matte with floating tonal pearl. Again, Urban Decay, that matte word. Whatever. Goes on nicely, like everything else does. So I'm pretty happy because the palette is consistent as far as pigmentation and how everything applies goes, I should say. Nothing was patchy, really. Nothing was, well, savage, slower. I'm gonna retract. I'm not even gonna finish that sentence because I don't know where I want to go with that. Nothing was patchy. Nothing had pigmentation issues. Everything worked really well. Chaos is one of those shades. I foresee a lot of people not wearing it on their lids entirely. I'm gonna do it because I'm that person. Like, I walk out the house in blue shadow normally at least once a week, like some variation of blue. Like, I'm doing a 1 palette a week challenge, and I'm using this, although I just got 3 other palettes last week, so I should probably use one of those. But I will walk out of the house with blue shadow on my eyelids and not give 2 flying fudge balls, because I think blue is such a pretty color. Why ignore it? Anyway, it is a vibrant blue. So, and with as vibrant as it is on me, if you are pale or fair skinned, I think that's going to be interesting to see on your eyes. I would just be careful, as it can, depending on how heavily it applies, I think it can be very overdone. Like, I'm going to have to pair this with something else, because while it will be going on my lid, I don't know if I'm going to use a base or not, or if I'm using a fluffy brush to apply opposed to a dense brush, or what's going to happen. But it's going to happen. Next up is Jilted. And one of the things about this palette, oh, let me read what Jilted is supposed to be before I get into that. Jilted is a bright metallic fuchsia with a blue shift. And it does have that blue shift. It's very nice, very subtle, and I noticed that when I put it on, because I was like, hey, what's happening here? I was squinting and looking in the mirror. But anyway, Jilted reminds me, Jilted and Urban, and I want to say Freak, but it's not, because the shade I'm thinking of was darker. There were 2 shades, and they were the first singles that I ever bought from Urban Decay. One looked exactly like Jilted, one looked exactly like Freak. I just can't think of their names. So I know Urban Decay is trying to say all 10 of these are brand new. Are they trying to say 10 of these are all new? I don't remember. But if they're trying to say 10 of these are all new, at least 2 of these are remakes put in with a different name. Because, yeah, Jilted and Urban, I've owned these before. Anyway, Jilted is very pretty. Like, for those people who don't wear purple eyeshadow, and I don't understand why people don't wear purple eyeshadow, it's gorgeous. Or I guess this is a fuchsia eyeshadow. It's pretty. Like, just put it on. Like, even just a tiny part of your lid somewhere, like inner corner, or tiny bit in the middle, or using it as an eyeliner, because with this brush I feel like you could very easily use one of these and run it across your lower lash line and make it an eyeliner. But just do it. It's so pretty. Next up is Urban, which is a bright metallic purple, and boy is it. Purple is my favorite color, but again, Fringe is my favorite color in this palette, but Urban comes in second. I do like it, and I do love dark purples on my eyes, although I have been told to be careful because I don't use concealer ever, so it can make me look more tired because it is so dark, but I don't care. Next up is Freak, which is a bright green with gold shift. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really notice the gold shift that much when I put it on. Do you have a gold shift? And I'm just gonna... I don't know about all that. Like, it's pretty, but I don't know if I would say there's a gold. Maybe I just can't see it. I don't know. The lighting in here isn't ideal because it's snowing outside, so but again, this is a shade that I like. I'm pretty sure this is one of those shades that a lot of people will avoid because, you know, it's green, and I know a lot of people don't like green eyeshadow, or at least in my experience in seeing things on the internet, but I'm aware it. And last but not least is Thrash, which is a bright lime green matte with floating gold pearl. Again, that matte word, Urban Decay, I like it. It reminds me of the Sugar Pills Acid Berry. I'm just going to end up doing a comparison, and it's going to be on my blog. I don't know if I'm going to put it up here, but a comparison video between the Sugar Pill palettes that I have, or the Sugar Pill shadows that I have, and this. Because this reminds me of Acid Berry, and like if I could reach to grab Acid Berry, because my tray case is over there, I most definitely would, and just swatch them side by side, and I think I'm going to have to at some point. But I think it's pretty. Like I said, it's what I have on my eye right now, so that's what's in here. Oh, and Urban is what's in here, and I've got a mix of stuff down here. So I think it's pretty. A little bright, a little neon-y, but it's pretty. So all depends on, you know, what you want to do with it, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Oh, and there is the thing I did forget to mention in the beginning. The warning on the back, which I know has caused a lot of controversy on whether or not to get the palette or why even buy it. And so the warning is as such: Slow Burn, Savage, Jilted, and Urban are not intended for immediate eye area. And I know a lot of people were curious about, well, what the heck does that even mean? Why sell a palette where 4 out of 10 colors can't be used on your eyes? From my understanding, and this is just what I looked up on the internet, so I could be wrong, it's that because those 4 are what are considered pigments. Well, I know they're all considered pressed pigments, but something about them, because you notice that those are the 4 brightest, are 2 of the 4 of the brightest, because Slow Burn and Savage definitely are, and I'll put Thrash and, okay, it doesn't matter. There's the issue of possible staining on your eye, and the fact that the FDA hasn't approved, I believe, of neon shadows. Like I said, I could be wrong. I don't entirely remember. I'd have to look it up again. So hence that warning. Now, my advice to you is, if you are cautious about this, don't. I mean, it's going to be up to you whether or not to use it, or get the palette and use them or not. I'm going to use them. When I was swatching my eyes earlier, I didn't really have a problem. I didn't have any problems, actually. My eyes were fine. Although apparently someone was telling me that one young lady on YouTube, her eye was irritated after using one of those shades. So as makeup is a personal thing, this is that same thing. If you have very sensitive eyes, I would say maybe this is not the best choice for you because of those 4 shades, especially if, because I know a lot of people love Savage and I love Slow Burn. Like when the videos and the leaked images got out, people were like, oh my gosh, I want Slow Burn, oh my gosh, I want Savage. So if those are 2 shades that drive you to buy this palette, think about it. Think about your eyes. Are they sensitive? Not so much. Stuff like that. Like, outweigh your pros and cons. Like, if you think you're gonna swell up like a pufferfish and have an allergic reaction, don't do it. Like, I would hope you would avoid it if you're that sensitive, but ultimately and you're just gonna do what you want. So I'm gonna use them because I had no problems earlier. I had no problems. I did play in the palette last night. I had no problems last night applying them on my eyes. Went to bed, woke up, and my eyes and vision were still there. So that's it. So that's it. Yeah, that's it for this. So this is the Urban Decay Electric Palette, and it is available at Sephora and probably Ulta. I imagine it's at Ulta now because it's not a Sephora exclusive. So urbandecay.com, Sephora.com, and Ulta.com. And wherever else Urban Decay might be sold. I don't know. I only go to Sephora to buy things. And I ordered this off the UD website. So anyway, until next time, later YouTube.